Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Florence. In my never-ending attempt to conquer my never-ending backlog of indie games and story narrative-driven games that I've never gotten around to, that have just been, catching dust in my Steam wishlist, I come across Florence, a game that I purchased who knows how long ago. I couldn't tell you. It was quite a while ago. But a game that I've always found to be interesting. And I was feeling, a need for something positive. I was feeling the need for a story that could pull me in, a story that could make me feel something. And I stumbled upon this one, and I watched the trailer for it, and I said, why have I never played this game? And so, without further ado, we are going to play it right now. We're jumping into Florence, a game that I've heard is relatively short. I don't know how short this game is, but I heard it's a pretty short journey, but it's a journey that is worth every minute. And so, without further ado, we're going to jump into the story and the world of Florence. I don't know too much about this outside of what I saw from the trailer. I think it's a story about love and this young girl's first love story. And that already makes me smile. And so, without further ado, guys, we're going to jump in. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content and you love watching playthroughs from a variety of different games, a main focus on indies, but really any story that can pull out an emotion within us, then you're already in the right place. Comment down below what game you'd love to see me play next. And if you enjoy cozy commentary for reviewing pleasure, you're already in the right place. Hit that sub button. Without further ado, go ahead and sit back, relax, grab some snacks, and let's do this. Chapter 1, Adult Life. Now, I don't know if this game has any sort of like actual gameplay mechanics, or if it's one that's kind of like story narrative driven. But either way, I'm excited for it. And again, thank you guys so much for joining me on this journey. I love sharing new experiences with you all, and I'm excited to see where the story takes us. Florence Yao, or Florence Yo, 25 years old, 7 a.m. 7:15. We've all been there. I hit the snooze button at least half a dozen times before I actually get up. Oh, cool. All right. I want to show you guys, this is how I brush my teeth. You got to go in the circles. You know what I mean? And a little side, a little up, down, For me, brushing my teeth is synonymous with video games. Oh, what do I do? Oh, you can. I don't know if this changes the story at all by choosing to like or, skip over some of them, but I don't know. We've already done it. Now she's at the workplace. Oh. Oh, these are some big numbers. Oh. Okay. Oh, get the matches. Okay. I would say we're pretty good at this game. I don't know. I don't want to toot my own horn. Oh, we get a call from Mom. Should we answer it? Why not? Hi, Mom. Hello. Yeah, her mom seems like she's nagging a little bit. Evening time. A little sushi. Oh, this one looks pretty good. Oh, I like this one. Yeah. A nice evening indeed. Absolutely. Nom nom nom. I love it. I love it. It's perfect. And then back to the evening time routine. A little moisturizer, brushing our teeth, getting the floss going, a little retinol, vitamin C. These are our evening time routines. And then we hit the hay and prepare to do it all over again. Chapter 2, Memories. I will say I do like the art style. I do enjoy the story aspect, that the game kind of progressing in panels, you know, almost like you're reading a live comic or an anime of sorts. I really do enjoy that. Let's see how it changes here in chapter 2. Oh, now we kind of have a little bit more control over, like, you can, like, this definitely feels like anime panels. Oh, unfortunate. I feel like we all have a closet like this that we just shove things into, you know, things that we no longer have a need for, or, you know, things that we just don't know what to do with. All the holiday stuff that we keep, that we refuse to get rid of, because why would I rebuy the same things in the next year? Oh, she stumbles upon a letter here. Interesting. Oh, look at this little koala bear. Okay, maybe a little diary. Interesting. What could the letter be? Oh, Florence at 7 years old. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is my kind of game right here. This is exactly what I like. I like something that's simple, doesn't take or require too much of you. You know, you're allowed to just kind of have a little fun. I don't know what we're supposed to do here, though. Oh, are we decorating it? I don't know if it has to be... Oh, sick. Okay. Can I put multiple parts? Interesting. Okay. That's cool. I don't know how to decorate it, though. Maybe we'll do something like this, and then we'll throw in like a little pop of color there. Not me spinning, like I could clearly see myself spinning about 30 minutes in here. Oh, there's other colors. Okay. Oh, I like this. This is good. Yeah, no, this is good. I like this. Are there any other colors? Oh, nice. Okay. Interesting. So maybe we'll do this one with a little pop of yellow down there. Nice. Maybe some yellow here. A little more yellow here. Right, we'll bring this one up. Oh, I kind of like it. There we go. Not too bad if you ask me. We'll do a little abstract flair there. Well, actually, no. Maybe we'll do something like this. We'll throw a star right on top of it. Maybe I'll just do the whole thing in kind of bright yellow. Make it easier to see. Listen, we're only 7 years old, by the way, so, you know, don't judge us too harsh. That's good enough for me. I know I spent way too much time on that. I had no idea there were other ones, though. Oh, a little butterfly effect? Okay. I kind of like it. Maybe we'll do something like this. Let's see. Good stuff, good stuff. I think the music is great though. I really do like it. I like this one. This one looks good. Okay. Moving on. Oh no. Her mom comes in, lays down the hammer, says school is about learning, not fun. And suddenly she trades her creativity in for a ruler and discipline. Oh, okay. Don't judge me for this. This is actually pretty tough. 17, is it 6? Okay. Listen, I can do basic math. You know, I was never really good at doing the difficult stuff, right? The calculus, the trigonometry, like none of that stuff interested me like at all. You know, it's just not my thing. Age 7. Oh. Oh no. Look at this. This is so crazy. Well, you can't go back any further, but you know, as you see, as you turn the clock forward, priorities change, people change, you change, and suddenly we find ourselves alone. The harsh realities of the world. If you're lucky, you're able to, you know, hold on to those relationships and those friendships through high school and, you know, maybe college friends you stay in touch with. And, you know, if you have someone in your life that, you know, or even a group of people in your life that you still have close connections with, close friendships with, maybe you see them on a regular basis, like you're much wealthier than most people, you know. It's really sad. You know, making friendships as adults is it's really hard. You know, people are different. You're different. Priorities are different. You know, people are getting married, having kids, doing all that stuff. And you know, maybe they're traveling the world. You know, you're just no longer in the same places. And it's, you're forced to kind of feel this, I don't know, this feeling of going through life on your own. Indecisive. I have never felt so attacked. But it's also valid. Yeah, I really couldn't decide. Chapter 3, music. I like that song. Oh, here we go. So those same images that we saw before, I feel like are coming back. And then our phone dies. Ain't that the truth? That's got to be the most valid thing I've ever seen. Are we supposed to just... Oh. And as our dear Florence walks the road alone, oh. The one thing that I feel like has always carried me through the lonely times has always been music, you know. So this scene actually kind of hits hard a little bit. And then she sees him for the first time. Oh, here we go. Act 2. Crash. Chapter 4. Crash. Oh. There we go. There he is. Oh no, did she crash? Oh, she definitely crashed. But I feel like this is kind of your classic love story, right? You know, you see your crush, you fall off your bike, you know. And hopefully he helps her pick up, you know, herself. Oh no, she's blushing. Oh, I love it. They sit, they talk, they have conversation. He gives her his number. Oh man, suddenly life is full of color again. Chapter 5. First dates. What is this? Cafe Picelli? I can't tell if that's an I or... She's still blushing. They sit, they have conversation. She's silent at first, but over time, she warms up. Let's see if we can put this puzzle piece together. Let's see, we got something going here. We got something going. She responds, he responds. You know, just like any first date you kind of have, right? The conversation always feels a little stiff at first, but if you have a connection, you're able to find some common ground and things kind of start to flow. Now at the Queen Victoria Market. Another date. So obviously the first date went well. You know, nice little meeting at a cafe. Always a nice and casual, you know, first date encounter. I feel like you always want to keep it casual. You know, you never want to do anything too extravagant. You know, just kind of something chill. You know, they go out, do an activity. A farmer's market's always a great activity. Purchase a few items. Gaze at each other, bask in each other's presence, have more conversation. Perhaps at this point, the conversation begins to be deeper, more involved, more evolved, you know. I don't know what I'm looking to say. Maybe these are some empanadas, maybe some Pop-Tarts. It's hard to say. They look delicious though. Any sort of filled pastry is good. Conversation continues. And you can see our lovely Florence opening up, you know, more receptive to conversation. And maybe for the first time, not feeling so alone. Fast forwarding to even more romantic dinners. Looks like a potential gathering. A gala, perhaps. Something fancy. A couple of cocktails. Perhaps a dirty martini. Maybe a nice little margarita, perhaps. More fun conversation. More connection, deeper connection. And now you can see it doesn't require as many puzzle pieces to fill the void of silence. now things just flow. And it's just easy. And they get closer to the point where you don't even have to grab both pieces. They just connect. Oh, there it is. The first kiss. Act 3, Dreams. Chapter 6. Okay. Now you could tell that they're clearly together, discussing their dreams, their ambitions, their goals, the things they want out of life, the things they're afraid to chase. Maybe she speaks of her dreams, talks of the things she wants to do. He clearly wants to be famous, wants to be well known, well renowned. Now, one thing I did notice in that last scene is that it never seemed like her dreams mattered. Now, maybe that's just me projecting, but she looks back to the thing that she once was, the person she once was, as we all often do, reminiscing on the version of ourselves we can barely recognize anymore. And all the things at one point we aspired to be before the weight of the world found its way on our shoulders. And maybe him talking about his dreams maybe inspires her to chase hers. Chapter 7. Inspiration. Now you can see your boy Krish obviously does not clean up. A Game Boy on the floor, cans, papers, and clothes everywhere, and a random fan. Knuckle Sandwich? I wonder if that's like the name of a band, perhaps. Pretty cool. Obviously, you could see his. I think that's a violin, right? A paddleboard. Maybe he plays cricket. Now we get to kind of clean things up, make things a little bit more neat and orderly. I don't know about you guys. I cannot operate in a dirty space. I need my space to be organized. I need it to be clean. And even when it is, I constantly find myself wanting to change it, to adjust it, optimize it, you know? She finally comes over, gets to see his space, discover something interesting. The Academy of Music. Imagine that. Student application. She asked him about it. He plays coy, shy. Wasn't going to bring it up, but now that it's here, no other choice. She pushes him, inspires him, forces him, encourages him, I should say, to take that leap. Because you never know what can happen. We push, he resists, but we do it anyway. The antithesis of better together. She continues to pursue her art and her latest inspiration. The thing she never thought she would meet. Chapter 8. Exploration. Here we go. Oh, teaching her to skateboard. Beautiful stuff. Oh, I guess, okay, so we have to shake it. Skateboard lessons. Okay. A little forest hike in the Upper West Side. Art galleries. Her showcasing her interest. Her meeting his family. The Himrajanis. And Krish's music friends. I wonder if he ever meets her family. Krish's first sushi. And so many other memories that she thinks so fondly of. While she's still at her corporate job. Act 4. Groceries. Oh, here we go. We have the puzzle pieces again. As conversation. I wonder why his puzzle pieces kind of matched on their own. I wonder if that's telling of how things are. They begin to argue. She pleads her side. He pleads his. I really hope this isn't the beginning of the disconnect, as I often call it. The point in many relationships and when things stop to feel so lightweight, responses become faster. You're trying to get your points in, but he's too fast. Before you know it, no one's listening to each other because it's not about that anymore. It's about being right. Both are annoyed, struggling to communicate, as the old saying goes. And they both begin to feel cold and disconnected. But give it a little time and hopefully I can reconnect and see what's the most important. Each other. 6 months later. Moving in. Oh, so it looks like maybe they moved to a new place, or he moved in with her. Packaging up all the old in preparation for the new. All the cooking utensils that always end up being a lot heavier than you remember them being. And then one singular toothbrush. So he definitely moved into her spot, at least from what it looks like. Oh, so it looks okay. So it looks like we could. Oh my gosh, this is turning into unpacking. But I don't think it gives you a lot of options. Okay, so we could put some certain things away, but as you can see, a lot of things don't fit. Got a lot of books there. As you can see, a lot of things won't fit. Maybe this random candle. We could put this family photo up there. As you can see, we can't put everything, but A lot of his items end up in storage, unfortunately. But at least they're together, you know? Academy of Music auditions today. She wishes him good luck. It's been a long road, but they finally made it. His big opportunity, the chance at his big break. He offers her a gift, a chance for her to reconnect with her one true passion, art. She finally feels seen for the first time in a long time. Chapter 11. Happy together. 7:15. We have breakfast. We enjoy some light conversation to begin the day. Some berries. Perhaps some buttered toast, a sip of coffee or two, or three. It's going to be a long day. We send little love emotes, missy faces, winks, you know. I like to send an array of emotions, you know, keep them on their toes. Some positivity. Like, are you sad, brother? What's going on? Oh, okay. So maybe he just needed a little affirmation. She's speedy at her job. She's been doing it a while, so we reconnect. We do a little cooking. Maybe a nice little, I don't know if this is like a curry dish or some sort of, I just see the peas and it reminds me of a couple of curry dishes I've made. They both work on their art together. She continues to draw, continuing to evolve her art like never before. And they're happy. Act 5, Chapter 12, Routine. 1 year later. At 7 a.m. They both look kind of disheveled. Not really, I don't know, perhaps not taking care of themselves as much. He continues to work on his music. She continues to crunch the numbers. Likely completely uninspired by the day-to-day. Or should we call it the mundane? He continues to be heavily invested in his craft. We ignore calls from mom. She keeps calling. So we finally answer. We're working. Fine, I'm busy. You don't have to find a boyfriend for me. Oh no. What I think is crazy is that he hasn't met her family. And this is where things start to get really sad, in my opinion. You know, that moment of any relationship in which you find yourself spending time together but apart. You know, you may be in the same room, but you're not really connecting. You know, you're just kind of both there. You find yourself in the routine, the day-to-day, the rut of the expected. And you see this division, this line between the two characters. They're together, but are they really? You know? Chapter 13, Erosion. And just like we saw at the beginning, things always start off beautiful and light and interesting and fun. And over time, just like any new metal, just like anything new, the wear and tear begins to weigh on it. And eventually, that closeness, that connection begins to feel samey in a way. Next thing you know, you find yourself together but apart. Living the same lives, but different. Or he started working on his music and enjoying it. Maybe things have changed. The tune has changed from a major to a minor. And maybe he's lost his spark. Maybe he doesn't love it anymore. The sad reality. And as for her art, perhaps she never continued to pick it up, and it just gathered dust. Items find their way on top of it. Next thing you know, she never really even thinks of it anymore. The sad realities of growing up. Chapter 14. Fight. Things feel disconnected. They're not talking. They're not communicating. Next thing you know, responses become short. Patience dwindles. Silent treatments form. And they don't really know how to connect. His responses are quick, unthoughtful, almost out of spite. Not really sure what they're fighting about at this point, but it obviously isn't good. Him once again quick to respond. No thought in his responses whatsoever. She makes her side. He makes his. And now there's no puzzle pieces anymore. It's not about being right, or it's not about connecting. It's not about understanding. It's about being right. The words become harsher. The emotion becomes more intense. Fights never work out this way. Where they should have just taken a beat, given each other space to form their own thoughts, they lash out. Now, this isn't uncommon, This isn't something that isn't exclusive to any one relationship. This is something that potentially may be found in every relationship at one point, because at the end of the day, while we may be together, we are still different people. And they find themselves on opposite sides. I will tell you, if there's one thing I'm not good at, it's puzzles. And as you can see, it doesn't even seem like the puzzle fits. No matter how you try to put it together, it's not connected anymore. Chapter 15. Drifting. Oh no. Now they're not even puzzle pieces. And as you try to put the pieces together, they don't even form as they once did. And no matter how much you try, the pieces are ripped, fragmented. And it just continues to separate. Despite one's best efforts, the picture is no longer whole. It's a fragment of a memory, a time that you may never get back. Chapter 16. Moving out. To think that there was once a time where you could find connection. You meet someone, you find those butterflies, you connect with them, you get to know them, you go through all the fuzzies that come with such a connection, you know, feeling of newness. Before you know it, you know, even if you don't want it to, it ends. And you're forced to deal with the fragments of what was and the harsh realities of now. Now you're taking all the things out, you know, what was once a connected life now returns to a life that is separate once again. How strangers become lovers, back to strangers. It's a weird thing. It's almost like attending a funeral, you know, of someone that you once knew. You know, we see this in friendships a lot, you know. Those friends that you once thought you would conquer the world with are now just people. You know, people you used to know, people you used to be connected to, people you used to share your deepest, darkest secrets with, your ambitions, your worries, your dreams. And now they're just people. It's really sad. And this is something I feel like I've experienced personally in my life quite often, you know, going to these virtual funerals in a way, these moments in which you're left alone, kind of full of remorse over a life that you'll never get to be a part of again. I will never get to see you evolve and become your best self. And in your mind, you're forced to take these memories and toss them. Act 6. Fragments. Chapter 17. You now are forced to kind of remove these memories, or remove the elements of the person for the sake of moving on. This person that you once knew, that you created so much of your routine around, so much of your life around, is now just a memory. Someone that used to sit next to you through it all is a ghost. You even go as far as to call your mom, who you've come to kind of be a little bit contentious with over the years. Chapter 18. Let go. Now, I still don't know why they fought, but I guess that's not the point, right? The point isn't necessarily what they fought about, but merely the erosion of the relationship over time, the inability to connect, the lack of potential effort on both sides, and this overall inevitability of an end. And just as we began this journey with Florence at the beginning of the story, we now once again find ourselves walking alone through this path of life. Chapter 19. Wake up. We pull the art back out, and we think back at the time of what we thought we could be, the person we thought we could be. We look at the calendar, we realize how much time has passed, and maybe we try again. We pick it up, we attempt to put pen to paper, or, you know, find our sense of self once again. But over time, it looks like perhaps she does. And she reconnects with herself, you know, The building blocks of the fragments of the old become the foundation for the new. And our girl Florence finds a way to be whole once again. And it takes time, but eventually you get there. She reconnects with her mom. She continues her art, even submitting it into potential competitions or galleries, attaining second place, which, listen, a win is a win. She joins a sketch club. She gets a cat. Or is that a dog? Honestly, I can't tell. She creates a shop, maybe an Etsy shop. Florence Yo. She publishes her art, and it all sells out. She gets the retweets. She gets the likes. Her sales rise. Over time, your girl Florence becomes a success. Now the numbers that she was crunching way back when aren't numbers from some random company. They're numbers for her business, the thing that she built from the ground up. The summation, the culmination of following one's passions. You can't help but be excited for your girl. Chapter 20, moving on. She finally quits that corporate hellscape of a job, tossing in her pen, her paper, her cat mug, her pens, the little things that helped her feel like a human in that cubicle of a workspace. She then picks up one final memory of a life she once lived. And now she doesn't have to look at it in contempt or worry or anguish. She can now look at it fondly. A memory that she thinks back on that kind of got her in some ways to where she is now. And there we are, your girl Florence Yo and her mom. Art galleries dedicated, showcasing the work of Florence. She talks about her art. She connects with friends. People actually come to see the thing that she made. She gets to meet people excited about her work, those that love and celebrate the work that she's put out. And as you can see in the art that we see in the background, remnants of the 7-year-old girl that she used to be, the one that loved to paint and draw and create. And her world is no longer drab anymore. It's full of possibility. It's full of hope. She finally took the leap, and it paid off. That was a really great story. I mean, it had some highs, it had some lows, it had a beautiful journey of self-discovery and what happens when, you know, the painful parts of our life, you know, find their way to us and we're left with the fragments, we're left with the pieces that we now have to pick up, break down, build and rebuild. But in the end, we find happiness, you know? In the end, we find peace and we find ourselves again, you know? And I think some of that comes with taking risks, and some of that comes with, you know, taking a hard, good look in the mirror and asking ourselves the questions of, you know, are we happy, or what makes us happy, or where do we see ourselves? You know, whatever that question is. And throughout the course of this story, it seems like Florence really found that, and she found herself, and, you know, She was a 7-year-old girl who loved to draw and loved art, and found herself burdened by the demands of her mother, or by society, or the need to pay bills, or the need to, survive and live, and finds herself in a corporate job that isn't a reflection of who she ever wanted to be. And I think this is always the sad thing. You see kids grow up and they have these grand dreams and these ambitions, and life finds a way to impede on those dreams, and you find yourself having to just make ends meet sometimes. And I feel like we all reach a point where we kind of almost forget who we are or who we wanted to be for the sake of who we had to be or who we had to become. And I guess that's my favorite part about this story, is I love that Florence is able to find herself, and that she's able to reconnect with the true version of her, who she is. And it's a beautiful tale of, again, of love, heartbreak, self-discovery, rediscovery. There's so much in this narrative that I connected with on such a deeply personal level, as someone that feels like they've had to do all of those things, that you experience and go through all of those phases, and you find ways to pick yourself back up, and it takes time, but eventually we do get better, and things get better, and and you find yourself again. And so there you have it. The story of Florence. Now, one thing I will say, I didn't expect this game to be I didn't expect it to be that short, but I loved it. I loved that this game had, it had a very succinct story, and it was one that was deeply emotional. It had all the elements that you'd want in a story, in a game that is, 20, 30 hours, all packed up in a beautiful, 1 hour experience. I really did enjoy that. Let's take a look at some of her artwork here. Some of these images we obviously see, I think, in the beginning of, throughout parts of the game, but other parts we don't really see too much of. Obviously some early concept drawing of Florence and Krish. Memories of their first date, first concept art of first stage chapter. Also, this is artwork from the actual developers, creating some of the panels that we would come to see in the game. Obviously, them going to the market, some of their first earliest conversations, some of their, through their first dates, leading all the way to their first kiss. Beautiful moments between these characters. Really, really beautiful moment. Promotional art for Chinese New Year. I love the art in this game too. I think it did a really great job of blending different styles. I love the simplistic style here, but then you can obviously something that feels like you could see this in an animated film. I really enjoyed that. I also love that she's able to find a way to connect with her mom again. It seemed like her and her mom didn't really have the best relationship throughout much of the story. And as someone that also had parents that were really tough on them, you want to go one way, they want you to go another way. In an effort, in an attempt to make them happy, you pursue that path. But I think over time, you find yourself hating it and resenting them for it, for not allowing you to pursue the thing that would actually make you happy. Early art style test, unused art. I think this would have been a really interesting, poignant illustration of the deteriorating relationship between, Florence and Krish. But this part of the story was heartbreaking. Obviously we can only guesstimate what went wrong with their relationship, but without actually being there. But it seemed like he was very invested in his music. She was very, invested in her things. And, it also feels like they just struggled to communicate. And I think over time just came to the conclusion that it wasn't going to work. We have early art style. I love the illustration here of the incredibly long couch separating these two, almost like they're on two different islands, two different parts of the world. And the analogy that I feel like I made, I feel like really structurally sound, for kind of these relationships, sometimes friendships too, that you see. You see friends at dinner and they're all on their phones, not connecting, all in, together but apart. We see some additional early character art for Florence. We also see some, I love the beginning when you're walking and listening to music. I feel like music, at least for me, has always been a safe space, a place in which you can find connection even within yourself. These lyrics, of songs, so many different genres have always spoken to me. Songs that I think back on from over a decade ago that still ring so heavily, in a world that can feel so isolating. You find yourself in these cozy activities, and you find yourself in these things that connect you back to that inner child, that child that was forced to kind of grow up in a world that no longer felt like it wanted them, And I think that's why, we reach adulthood, and I feel like that's why it's so important for us to continue to connect with the things that bring us joy, the things that genuinely bring us joy, the things that, maybe, society will tell you you're too old for, or the things that no longer, people will tell your friends or your family no longer suit you, whether it's arts and crafts or coloring or decorating, crocheting, sharing stories like we're doing right now, the things that, we were so often told we shouldn't enjoy, for me. And with this channel, every video that I put out, every video that we make, that we post is an opportunity of self-exploration, an opportunity to push beyond those boundaries of the narrative that you were fed growing up, that you shouldn't enjoy this, you shouldn't like that, you spend too much time doing this. But for me, stuff like this, stories like this were always what I connected to, always what I found so deeply passionate about. And you felt like you had to repress that side for the sake of practicality. And every video we post, I feel like, is in an honor to that younger self that was told they shouldn't pursue it. They shouldn't chase their dream. They shouldn't be passionate about a thing. And so, it's kind of a healing journey in a way. We get some more deleted scenes, more images of the two characters. One of the hardest chapters, I would say, of the entire story, the Let Go chapter. I also feel Erosion was also a pretty emotional chapter as well. Unused art, reconnecting Florence with her artwork. I love the use of color in certain aspects, and obviously as the relationship kind of deteriorates over those few chapters. And I want to say Act 5, you obviously see muted tones, grays, blacks, whites being used in a lot of the depiction, a lot of grays, whereas like the world felt colorful. But as she kind of overcomes that trauma and overcomes that challenge of heartbreak, she finds color in her world again, which I think is a beautiful story. Fragments. We got some mock-up posters. We've got some, obviously, yellows representing what I believe to be Krish, and then you've got all these other things here too. And I think that this one's also really beautiful. I believe this is him. This is obviously her, them sitting back to back, strangers once again. It's hard. It's hard to realize that, whether it's in personal relationships or it's in friendships, it is hard to feel like you were once so connected to people, or a person in your life. And then you look back and they're nothing more than a memory, you can't help but question whether or not do they even think of you anymore, Are you just a memory in their story, It's a kind of a hard thing to force ourselves to come to terms with, that reality that people move on and they change, you change. And sometimes people are there just for a chapter, a brief moment in time. I don't know. I say all that to say that is why connection is so important. And one of the things that I seek and I pursue so heavily in this channel and this community is creating connection through these stories and through these characters, because We live in a world that's so digital, and it's so hard to feel like you connect with people. It's something I struggle with every day, finding that connection, that deeper connection, people truly seeing you, as you are, and accepting and loving you for it, so I don't know, all the encouragement that you all show, the kind words that you provide, in each video continues to help me, mentally, emotionally, helps me feel seen, and it helps me feel like I, belong in this space, and that is all I ever seek to create in this channel and in this community. So anyway, I say all that to say, thank you so much for joining me on the journey through Florence. This was an incredible story, one that was brief but impactful. And when I think back to some of the great indie games that I would suggest for anyone to experience or play, Florence will definitely be one that is on that list. It's a game that I think if I'm ever needing a pick-me-up, I may just pick up again and try it out. I will say overall, I could talk about the gameplay, I could talk about the music, which was obviously incredible. But I would say the most important metric, I think, for a game for me is how does a game make you feel? I felt hopeful. I felt nostalgic. I felt pain. I felt tears. I felt worry, and I felt hope again. This game broke me down. It rebuilt me in a way, and I'm very happy to share this experience with you guys. So thank you so much for allowing me to do so. Thank you for going on this journey with me. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, you already know what to do. Dropping a like is a great free way to help and support the content and the channel. If you'd like to join us, if you are in search of a community, twitch.tv/thatguywhy. We would love to have you along for the journey as well. All the links can be found in the description of this video. And if you enjoy cozy commentary for your viewing pleasure, you're already in the right place. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to share another journey with you. We have so many other indie games, so many other story games that I would love to experience in journeys I would love to go on with you all. And I can't wait. I look forward to it. Thank you guys so much. I hope you're safe. I hope you're doing well. And I will see you in the next video.